Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I am your average guy, John Corelli. I'm really having trouble talking today. I don't know why. I think I might have a little cold, but it shouldn't keep me from talking because I'm really good at that. Um, I had to delete the last video I was making about the subject I'm about to talk about, which is me getting beat up again at school. Not really beat up, it's a kid, but taking a little punishment from a kid earlier this week. But I was stuttering on the first video, and I wanted to share that with you because I started studying. I was like, John Nicarelli, and I sounded just like my grandfather who died in 1986, I believe. He was a wonderful little man. His name was also John Corelli. He spelled his with an H. He came over on a boat in 1903, I believe, from Sicily, and he was the sweetest little, just 5'3", sweet little stereotypical Italian grandfather. He was a tailor, as many people are from Italy. As many made their living that way when they came over here as a first job, and he learned English. It was very broken English, but he got by, and just a sweet, sweet man. I have nothing but good memories of him. But so yeah, so that's I had to share that with you because my last video I had to delete because I only got 4 minutes in and I ran out of space because I am an idiot and forgot to erase a bunch of these that I had made in the past on my phone. So I ran out of memory space, megabytes, gigabytes, whatever the hell I ran out of. I ran out of it. So got to remember once I get these onto YouTube to erase them off my phone. So there's a nice boring 100 seconds for you. Let's get into it. I also I gave shout outs on my last video to Logan Dimert. Hope it's Dimert and not Demert, by the way. If it's Demert Logan, I apologize and correct my stupid ass. Max Aguiar. But I also wanted to give a third shout out to my mom. I think mentioned how she is probably one of my most avid watchers. But I did forget to say something because this was kind of funny. So I've mentioned before that I live in a duplex situation. I pay rent. I always say I'm not living in the basement. I live in the first floor of a two-story house, but we're separated. They can't just walk in. I mean, my mom does in the back door, but she can't come inside. It's not like that type of situation. It's a 3-bedroom place. I'm here with my kids, and she came down yesterday, and she just wanted to talk for a while, and it was nice. But she was having problems with her iPad, and she came down. She said, maybe you could fix it. I said, yeah, but hey, my kid could fix it better because they know that stuff better than I do. Anyway, she goes, yeah, I really wanted to watch your ordinary guy opinions. I'm like, it's average. It's average guy opinions. I am average, not ordinary, and there is a difference, is there not? I mean, yeah, I've just done a lot of cool things, a lot of boring things in this life, and it averages out, in my opinion. I am not ordinary. Nobody is. Everybody's special. But it was kind of funny. So, Mom, if you're listening, you probably are. Average guy opinions. So let's get into it since I've already wasted 3 minutes. But it's not something that'll take 10 minutes to talk about. But yeah, I've talked about the school where I work before, and it will probably become a weekly subject, especially if things like this happen. I took another beating this past Wednesday. It wasn't horrible. But I learned some things from it. I'm with a kid. It's only a couple hours a day that I'm with this kid. Back last semester, I was with him like 5 hours a day, and that could be rough. But it was actually going well because I do have methods in how I teach these kids and build a rapport with them and get them to be a student rather than just a kid we kind of babysit. And things were going well for a while, and then they went badly. And this kid had a really rough December. I had a lot of things go kind of south in his life. His father, his actual biological father, who was minimally in his life in the first place, is now even less. His mother's boyfriend, who was getting into his life, moved away. He has had stints in Children's Hospital, long stints, especially last summer. He is dealing with meds. His sister will be joining us at our small little school because she has the same issues. A very intelligent, very frustrated, often violent kid. So he's coming to grips with that. He had an inner ear infection this week, so that didn't help his mood. And so all these things built up. And then I kind of really didn't take all that into account when I requested some things of him, and not hard things, not like even academic things, just, hey, this is what we're going to do. we're not allowed into A, B, and C rooms because when you go in these rooms, you perseverate on things. We have a life skills room in our school. It has a washer, dryer, dishwasher, kitchen equipment, refrigerator. It's basically like a big kitchen, and there's room in there to eat. And we sometimes have like staff lounge parties in there, or not really a party, but like if we have a potluck or something like that, we'll do that. The classroom I'm in right now with the high school kids on the ASD spectrum, we do a coffee cart every week. So we prep the coffee cart in there, and teachers throughout the building are allowed to buy stuff off the coffee cart, including, like sweet treats and stuff like that. And so, but when this kid gets in there, he perseverates on the washing machine. He opens it up, he pours water in it, he'll put like a few towels in there and then literally do the cycles on his own. And so, just swish it around. And he will do this for hours. And if you ask him to stop, he starts getting heightened and upset. And so we have to just lately just keep him out of the room completely. And then this was a room that we were using kind of as a carrot, in the horse and carrot scenario, like, hey, you get some work done, you get to spend some time in room 120 where you love to be. But he wasn't doing these things. And we were me and the other person that worked with him, we weren't being super strict with him. We were letting him have some time in there, and he started abusing it. So now this past week, we were like, zero tolerance, you don't get to go in there. And so he's already upset. He's already upset about all the other things I mentioned earlier. And so he wanted to play with his cars in the hallway. And our hallways can get wild. Kids will just refuse to go to class. Sometimes they'll group with other kids and act like roving gangs. I wish I were making this up, and just start screaming and telling all the teachers to fuck themselves, and the administration too, and the security. And so it can get wild in there. So I told him, no, we can't play with cars in the hallway. It was like, there are one or two spots. I said, if you want to go, there's a little ramp that's down by the gym that really isn't a high traffic area. We do that. He's like, nope, we're playing in the hallway. I said, no, we're not. It's like, I'm sorry. And there's my line in the sand. And maybe I shouldn't have drawn the line in the sand. But then again, if we don't give these kids any parameters and any consequences, and they go into the world in 6 years, how well off are they going to be? So I'm honest with my kids. With this kid's a 7th grader. He's 12 or 13 years old. And I'm honest with him. I go, hey, these are standards you're going to have to live by when you go out in the real world, which is not that far away. And I treat these kids as young adults. I call them young men, young women, or whatever they want to be called. I treat them as young adults because you're on your way, man. You're going to be in high school a couple years, a few years after that, you're in the world. And so this is what the world will request of you. And so I said, well, why don't we go outside? And he's like, okay. And he was not too happy about it, but we went outside. And then I thought things were going to go well. I thought it was a decent day out. It was Wednesday. It was like probably in the 30s. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. And we went out there, and he starts throwing snowballs at me. And I'm like, hey, please stop. And he's like, nope. He's like, the only way I'm going to stop is if you throw them back. I go, I'm not going to have a snowball fight with the student. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. He kept throwing them. And I just walked away. As long as he was nearby and in close proximity, fine. Then he took off his shoe, started hitting me with it. Generally didn't hurt. I mean, I got a bruise on my little finger, but I'm fine, from blocking, because we get good at that at this school. And so he went with that for a while, and then he started kicking me. I put his shoe back on, started kicking me, and got actually a couple decent shots in on my Achilles tendon. I had to ice it that night. But I also got smart and blocked a couple, and he ended up kicking the bottom of my foot with his toe, and he ended up limping. And so when a student's wielding a weapon, I fully believe with all my heart that I am allowed to defend myself. And so I asked afterwards, though, because it's called a no-touch school, but obviously there are times when, hey, if a kid's running at you, you're going to have to touch the kid, right? Or you're at least going to get touched by him. And we have a little more leeway in the ASD room. We're allowed to, give our kids a pat on the back or a fist bump and let them know they're doing a good job. And we're also, allowed to guide them with our hands because they have special needs. But so I had to ask afterwards, the security person, who was great, by the way, she came in and she just goes, I can't say his name out loud, but she's like, hey, and he just froze because he knew this woman, and he stood there. And I got out of the way, and she walked him to a place we call the chill room. It's a room that we close the door on these kids and let them calm down. And sometimes these kids don't do well there, but he did great. But on his way to the chill room, he walks by me, just goes, just right at my face. And it was so hard not to laugh. It was like him going for a big air, and it did the exact opposite. It lightened the situation, made me realize that everything's fine. I'm not really hurt, and it's all good. Uh, but I had to ask the security guard afterwards, am I allowed to take I should be allowed to take a potential weapon or something that's being used as a weapon out of the kid's hand. I can do that, right? And she's like, "Oh yeah," because I didn't know the policy. I've been there 5 months and I didn't really know if I'm okay doing that. And so next time, I'll just take the shoe from him and chuck it across, and then he's got a decision to make. He can either go run over and get that shoe, and that gives me time to call security on my radio, or maybe he calms down a little bit, or maybe talk him down a little bit while he's doing that. Or he decides to keep swinging with his bare hands, right? And now at this point, when I'm blocking, he's feeling it. It's the weapons were made for a reason. So the victim could feel it and the perpetrator can't. And so when you can take a weapon away from anybody, it evens the playing field. So I had to do that. I will do that next time. Hopefully there won't be a next time. Getting better at talking to these kids, getting better at being a patient person in general, which is great. This place is not easy to work at, but after my first semester there, it feels like an initiation period. They've taken me into the fold. You're part of the family now. It's almost like a gang. It really is. I mean, we all have our own issues too. You can tell a lot of the adults have dealt with a lot of some of maybe not the exact same issues these kids have, but a lot of us have dealt with a lot of pain, especially in our childhoods. And so we understand these kids and we just want to help them. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's a fucking hard job. But I'm there and I plan on being there a while. So anyway, there's my beating of the week. Maybe I'll just start, whether it's mental or physical, maybe I'll just have one of my 7 videos each week will be the beating of the week and let you know what happened. So there you go. Thanks, guys. I'm closing in on 12 minutes. Thanks for listening. And as always, whatever you're doing, I hope you're well. I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. And I appreciate you watching my silliness. And oh, and by the way, Logan and Max, I hope this helps you as creators. I hope you use some of this as material, maybe as a character. But yeah, I love that this could possibly help people create or give ideas. Anything I can do to cast any light or be helpful in any way makes me feel good. So thanks, you guys. I appreciate your support and talk to you soon. Bye.